you take the best player available. Concanable, he's more than just a shooter. He's a 5-star coming out of high school, 7'2", to not get a single rebound all game. But it's not just me going with the heist. The NBA draft lottery is already Monday, so this is my mock draft right here. What you're going to be seeing, these are the picks that I think are going to happen. We're using this website, and we're going to do a lottery. We're going to simulate a lottery. As you know, the real thing's going to happen Monday, and I can just wait till Monday. But when Monday comes, I'm going to be doing a full 2-round mock draft, and looks like the Rockets have the number 1 pick in this lottery. That would be crazy if the Rockets get a pick, because Cooper Flag, Cooper Flag's going to fit on every single NBA team. There's not a single team that would get the number 1 pick and wouldn't draft Cooper Flag, right? But right here is the Rockets. It's like you have Fred, you have your bigs. Cooper Flag will fit perfectly on this team. And this is just a no-brainer. Cooper Flag is the clear number 1. So we're going to draft him number 1 overall. Next is the Hornets. And as much as you will want a center, if you fall below 2, you're drafting Kamal Maluak, if you can get him, if he's not off the board yet. But since you are number 2, you have to go with the clear number 2, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is a great playmaker. LaMelo Ball misses a lot of games. It's not bad to have another guard. He's going to be starting anyways alongside LaMelo Ball, whether LaMelo is healthy or not. Dylan Harper, he's going to be drafted right here at number 2 for the Charlotte Hornets. Number 3 is the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are a team. You take the best player available. Really, any of these guys could fit on them. Now, you have Nick Claxton, you have Cameron Johnson. Are you going to look for a long-term replacement for Cameron Johnson? I don't think you should, but there's talks that the Nets might trade Cam Johnson. And if that's the case, I don't think Ace Bailey's a bad pick. I don't think VJ Edgecombe is. You can go trade Johnson for the pure shot creation that he offers. But I would say take the player with the highest upside, since you are a team with not a lot of stars. Cam Thomas he's not going to be a top 20 point guard, right? Nick Claxton's probably not going to be a top 10 center in his career. So Ace Bailey has someone who could be at least maybe a top 15 wing in the NBA someday. He has all-star potential. I do think, I'm not saying that VJ Edgecombe or Trey Johnson don't, but I think Ace Bailey has the highest upside. And if you're the Nets drafting at number 3, you take the player with the 3rd highest upside in the entire draft, and that's Ace Bailey. 4 is the San Antonio Spurs. You have De'Aaron Fox. You have Stephon Castle. Do you take another guard in VJ Edgecombe, in which I think Edgecombe is the next best player that's in this draft, or do you take someone from another position? Now, Con Kneppel is someone. Then realistically, the Spurs are not going to have the 4th overall pick, so the Spurs are probably going to go for Con Kneppel if they do get the 7th pick in the draft, the 8th pick, the 9th pick, or whatever. Because Con Kneppel, he's more than just a shooter. Even though we like to say he's just a shooter, he's a wing. He's a great shooter. He's a great at playing that role, but he can do a little bit of playmaking, a little bit. He's a good, all right defender. He's a good driver. He's got decent handles. He's like an all-around player, but he just excels in shooting, right? So you can take him as high as 4, because you don't really think you need another guard, except that Keldon Johnson may not be in the plans long-term. He only has, 2 more years on his contract. So I think in that case, you take the next best player, that's VJ Edgecombe. He's a terrific athlete. I don't know why people say that his defense is overrated, or like if you hear from other people who make their mock drafts, they like to say that VJ Edgecombe wasn't that productive in college either. But he had several great games. Even when he's not filling up the stat sheet, he's still making an impact, whether it be his defense or just drawing attention for the other guys on the team to get open. VJ Edgecombe is going to make an impact whether he's shooting good or not, because that's one of the concerns about him. Is he that great of a shooter? And I still think that VJ Edgecombe, you can put him on the Spurs. If you're drafting at number 4, De'Aaron Fox is a good enough shooter. Wembanyama is a good enough offensive talent. Stephon Castle is coming into his own, right? He's not necessarily there yet offensively. I think VJ Edgecombe, he could get there. He's shown he's got athletic ability. He can get to the rim. So that's why I'm going VJ Edgecombe 4th overall. So pretty much it's been chalk, just taking the best player available. But these teams, they need that. They need the best player. That's why they have these picks, and that's why they're getting these picks. Next is the Utah Jazz, and it's another pick where you just take the guy with the highest upside. Now, John Collins is a big question mark. Is he going to be in the plans long term? I don't know. They extended Will Hardy to 2032. That's a great move by the Utah Jazz to extend Will Hardy. He's the coach of the future. Danny Ainge, a great owner, great GM. I mean, and the Jazz, there you have to take Trey Johnson. You can take Malu Rock. You can take Jackie Chonas. But I think a player with a shot creation is Trey Johnson. Do you have a pure point guard? Isaiah Collier can become that. He was a player who was 5-star coming out of high school. We thought he was going to go top 5 in the draft. He doesn't have a too great of a season. He falls all the way to 29 in last year's draft. Isaiah Collier still has that potential to be maybe a franchise point guard. I was really high on him. I know most people aren't. They only see franchise point guard for Stephon Castle in last year's draft, no one else. But I think Isaiah Collier is the second best point guard from that draft. I think he can be very great. Maybe not an all-star ever in his career, but Isaiah Collier is the point guard for now for the Utah Jazz, and I think Trey Johnson can come in, and he's going to be a great scorer. The Jazz could use another scorer. If you look at the point per games totals from each player, Colin Sexton, he's not all that. Jordan Clarkson isn't. Isaiah Collier, he's still a rookie. I think Trey Johnson, just like he came to Texas and as a freshman averaged 19.9 points per game, he can come to the Utah Jazz and he can average double digits in his first year as a rookie. So Trey Johnson, Utah Jazz are taking him 5th overall. 6 in this mock draft is the Washington Wizards. And some people I've seen, they don't think it's a bad idea to go big right here. And I don't think they should. Now, Alex Sarr, he's shown ability. He's getting better at becoming a floor spacer. Alex Sarr can develop a 3-point shot one day like Joel Embiid has. He can be a very similar player to Joel Embiid. And in that case, you can combine him with Kaman Maliak. The thing is, actually, Alex Sarr is a great rim protector as well. He's a great defender. Maliak is not as good of a shot blocker as you would think for being 7'2". If you just watch him play, he's not as good of a rebounder. We saw in the Final Four against Houston, he had 0 rebounds as a starting center. That's kind of concerning, right? You would think, but overall, he's got the most upside out of any big man. And due to the Wizards, I don't think they should go with Kaman Maliak. I think they should go Kasparas Jakučionis because Jakučionis is a good playmaker. He can work with a great big man in Alex Sarr and could surround him with shooters. He's a good initiator. He's got good court vision. Jordan Poole can play the 2, right, as he has been. He's not that great of a playmaker. I don't like Jordan Poole's playmaking. His decision-making at times is bad. Kasparas Jakučionis is perhaps the best decision maker in this entire draft. He can be the initiator that the Washington Wizards need. And some people would say Maliak over Jakučionis, but right here, I think Jakučionis will fit good. He can be the point guard for Washington. He can be the starting point guard immediately, right? So that's why I think they should take him if he does fall to them. If they can't get one of the top 3 players or top 4 players, yeah, Jakučionis is good right there. It's interesting. We have the New Orleans Pelicans. Last year, the Pelicans were in the market. They were in the draft for a center. They took Messi out of Baylor. He has a pretty decent rookie year. He actually became the starter pretty quick early on in the season. Messi became the starter, even though he was a young center out of Baylor, which is rare that they become a starter immediately, but they were that desperate. Now, do you take a center? Do you think Kaman Maliak has greater potential than Messi? If you do, then you are taking Maliak, and he's gonna be the starter anyways, right? You have McCollum, who is good for temper for now. DeJounte Murray is gonna miss about the first half of the season. It looks like Zion Williamson. It's always gonna be question marks around him. He didn't play that much this year. Again, he missed a lot of games, but when he's healthy, he's a great player. So, do you have faith in DeJounte Murray being healthy? Do you have faith in Zion Williamson being healthy? That's why I think it's just go with the best player available since there are so many question marks. And I think the one thing that you don't need is a center. Messi, he's going to let him develop. He's playing a lot already. He played a lot his rookie year. He's going to become even better. He can do pretty much everything besides shoot. Maliak cannot shoot, so why would you take him over Messi for that? Now, Derek Queen's not in consideration. Jeremiah Fears is, because he's somebody who I think can come on the Pelicans. The Pelicans need another scorer. Jose Alvarado started in the play-in for the Pelicans. Jose Alvarado. And yeah, you know DeJounte Murray is hurt, but Jose Alvarado is not somebody that you want starting. Jeremiah Fears, you would be okay with. Okay, you have Bruce Brown starting. You have CJ McCollum starting. DeJounte Murray's going to be out. So Jeremiah Fears is not someone who I wouldn't mind starting. Now, Igor Demon is someone who I'm very high on. I don't know why people fell off. He was mocked top 5 pretty much throughout the entire season, but then towards the end of it, he fell to out of the top 10. I think Igor Demon is still one of the better guards in this draft. But right here, I'm going Jeremiah Fears with the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I do think they could take Maluak. They could have another big. Him next to Messi is not a great fit. That is not going to work. If you're taking Maluak, it's because you think he's going to be better than Messi and you think he's going to be the starting center. That's the only reason you would take Maluak. Otherwise, I think you take Jeremiah Fears. He has more of that initiator role, like being that ball handler, being that scorer, like Concanepo doesn't necessarily have. Concaneple's a good shooter, but you already have Trey Murphy, you have Herb Jones at the wing. I don't think Concanepo is necessarily, he's not needed as much as Jeremiah Fears is needed in that backcourt in New Orleans. So New Orleans Pelicans, we're taking Jeremiah Fears right here. Now the next team is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Thunder, you don't have any needs really. You have shooting, you have defense, terrific, great defensive team. So you can take a player who can sacrifice a little bit of defense. And you can take Igor Demon, you can take Jace Richardson even. But I think the player who will fit well on the Thunder, who is a Thunder kind of player, whose offense can even be hidden, because the Thunder are a great offensive team, right? So the Thunder, they may look to add center depth in that. No, Chet Holmgren missed some time this year. Isaiah Hartenstein missed some time this year. You had Jalen J-Dub. He was playing center early on in the season. So those guys are kind of injury prone. You could take Kamal Maluak. That's not a bad pick. If you're picking a little bit later, Maluak's off the board and you have to settle for Derek Queen, that's not a bad pick either. But with Concanepo right here, that's just a great player. Concanepo can spend time in the G League if he has to. He is going to develop. He's going to become a great player. Concanepo will be. He's probably the best player here. He's a fantastic shooter, right? He's a swingman. But I love Asad Newell. Newell has great potential. He played great in his freshman year at Georgia. Terrific athlete. He's 6'11". He can rim run. He can catch lobs even. He's someone who I think you kind of want a little bit more big man depth. If you're the Thunder, Asad Newell can come in. He might even play a little bit. He's not going to be the guy that goes straight to the G League. And if you're the Thunder contending, you could use a little bit more depth. A little more depth, it doesn't hurt, right? So Asad Newell to the Thunder just makes so much sense. He was very productive at Georgia as well. Now you have the Raptors. You're good on wings, right? You traded for Brandon Ingram. Right now it looks like the Raptors think that's their guy, which is a little bit concerning that they think Brandon Ingram's here for the long term. But you're good on wings, right? You have him, you have Scotty Barnes, you have RJ Barrett. You take Kamal Maluak. You need a center. Jakob Poeltl is not going to be your center for the future. Who has the highest upside now? I think Derek Queen would be a better fit on the Raptors, but I don't see the Raptors taking Derek Queen and passing up on Kamal Maluak. Yes, Derek Queen was mocked higher throughout all the season. He was mocked higher than Maluak. He was the best center in college basketball for a while. If you're kind of like NBA draft prospects, right? Excluding Janai Broom, Javon Roberts, those guys. But they're probably going to go Maluak. I think Derek Queen will be a better fit, but the Raptors are going to go Maluak if he does fall to them, which is unlikely. I mean, the Raptors could be drafting higher, right? Right here, we have the Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers, they may trade Anthony Simons this offseason, right? They have Scoot Henderson. I'm not saying Scoot Henderson is someone you can build around, but he's not a bad player. There's a reason why people thought he was getting Rookie of the Year last year. He developed well in the, or I mean not last year, but the year before. He developed well in the G League. He showed flashes even in his rookie year. In the game against the Bucks, he hit like 5 shots in a row, and I was like, wow, Scoot Henderson is actually a good player. And it turns out everybody was turning on him. Or Brandon Miller's better. He's nowhere near this all-star player. We were all wrong on Scoot Henderson. They started giving up on him. They started selling the stock. But I think if the Trailblazers do make moves this offseason, it's going to be trading Anthony Simons. They could do that. Or, you have Tamari Kamara, you have Donovan Clingan, you have Denny Advija. You have great young players. That's a great young core right there. Combine those 3 players with Scoot Henderson, that's great. So who are you going to look to draft? You can take Derek Queen if you don't like DeAndre Ayton. Even though Ayton's been nice, Jeremy Grant has been great there. He's still under contract. But I think Colin Murray Boyles is someone who can come in. He's kind of like Tamani Kamara. He's a good athlete. He's got great defensive potential. Colin Murray Boyles was really impressive in his second year at South Carolina. Great transfer. He showed out his second year, and I think Colin Murray Boyles he's a great player, right? He's a good player. I don't think the Trailblazers should pass up on him. He's a good scorer, good rebounder, and that's why I have him. Now, it's the Dallas Mavericks, and right here, Conkin Nepal's off the board. He's the guy who you would have liked. You have plenty of big men. Now, you might trade Gafford to the Lakers. You might trade Lively to the Lakers. If you can get maybe a first round pick and some other assets like a Dalton Connect, you would make that trade to the Lakers. Otherwise, the Mavericks, you have a lot of big men. You're good at bigs. You don't take Derek Queen, even though this simulator might have Derek Queen as the best player available. Actually, wait. Conkin Nebel is here. Okay, so dream scenario for the Mavericks. You take Conkin Nebel right here. He fits in perfectly alongside Klay Thompson to be that other wing. You have Kyrie, you have multiple bigs. Klay Thompson needs another player to be next to him. And Conkin Nebel is someone who can do more than shooting. Like I said, he's going to fit very, very well on this Mavericks team. Next team that we have are the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls, you don't have a lot of hope for Nikola Vucevic. He's been great. He played all 82 games 2 years ago. He's got a lot of heart for the Bulls, but you're looking at center. That's how pretty much every Bulls fan in the mock draft is looking at for the Chicago Bulls. So you're taking Derek Queen. He's a great talent. There was a reason why he was the higher mock center throughout the most of the year until the very end, to March Madness even. He can handle the ball. He can handle the ball well for his position. For being a center, he's got okay handles. He's not the best defender, right? But you're drafting him for what he can do offensively. He's got a nice touch, and I think that on the Bulls, that's going to work very well next to Josh Giddey, Kobe White, these great guards. You have tons of guard depth, even coming into the season. You had like 3 point guards starting for most of the time, most of the games played this year, which is absolutely ridiculous. Derek Queen's going to fit nice alongside Patrick Williams. Whether you do trade Patrick Williams in the future or not, whether he's a long-term Bull for life or whatever, you've had him for a while. He hasn't shown as much improvement as you would have liked to, even though this was kind of a breakout year for Patrick Williams. I think you take Derek Queen if you're the Bulls right here. Now next, what pick is this? 13th pick in the draft. Atlanta Hawks. You would have liked the Colin Murray Bulls. You would have liked an Hassan Newell. Those guys are off the board. Those were guys who could have rim run. Now the Hawks, they don't have any need in particular, right? They don't have any specific need. Maybe front court depth, but I'm not high on any other of these front court players. Thomas Sorber, maybe. Carter Bryant, I'm really high on, and I could actually see the Hawks taking right here. I don't think it's worth taking another point guard. You have Trae Young. Trae Young has shown an ability who can stay relatively healthy, so I don't think it's time to draft another point guard. Liam McNeely, he was a top 10 talent before the college season started, and he never fell off or nothing. But he's a good floor spacer. I don't think that's what the Hawks are looking for right here. So that's why I think they should take Carter Bryant. Carter Bryant is a great player, right? He's got a high upside. He could be a 3-and-D player in the league. He kind of did it at college in Arizona. He has a great. He shoots great from the corner, and with Trae Young's playmaking, Carter Bryant, the best of his potential is going to be brought out without a doubt, and he could be that player who replaces DeAndre Hunter, who fills in the void that Sadiq Bey did left whenever you traded him or whatever. And now we're back to the Spurs, and the Spurs right here. There's a lot of great players. I think they take Igor Demon. Most of the mock drafts that I've done, just for fun, I had them taking Demon with their first pick. But right here, they have the 14th pick overall. And if Demon's still on the board, I think you take him now. Already, I had them taking VJ Edgecombe. And you might want them to take a wing and Liam McNeely, someone who you can have spaces the floor a little bit, because Sochan might not. Wembanyama, how many threes do you want Wembanyama shooting? You have a new coach as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. How are things going to change with a new coach? Are we going to see experimentation? Are we going to see Sochan at point guard? No, you have Stephon Castle. There's no need to have Sochan at point guard. You have Chris Paul. You have Stephon Castle. Is Chris Paul going to stay there next season? I don't know. He played all 82 games this year. He was good for the Spurs. Is Chris Paul going to be benched? He started every game. Is he going to be moved to the bench all of a sudden? I don't know. I think Edward Demon, though, he fits the scheme. Whatever the scheme looks like for the Spurs, I don't know what it looks like. But Edward Demon fits the mold that the Spurs have. A lot of great young players. If you have Stephon Castle, if you have VJ Edgecombe, you can bring in Demon. People, they lost hope on Demon throughout the year. I still think he's a top guard, like I've been saying throughout this time. He's a great playmaker. He's going to need time to grow, right? He's not going to come into the league and be great. He didn't come into BYU. He wasn't a great player in his freshman year. But he could, behind De'Aaron Fox, behind Stephon Castle, who would look to be your front court of the future, behind VJ Edgecombe potentially, Edward Demon won't have a lot of pressure. You're okay with the front court. Wembanyama is good enough. Sochan is good enough. Keldon Johnson is good. Devin Vassell, you're fine with that front court. So Demon can come and just fill that bench. He's a great player. Give him time to develop. He's a great playmaker. He's going to be good alongside Castle for the future of the franchise. Next is the Thunder again. We took Hassan Newell in the first round. Do you go with another big? Thomas Sorber has very great potential for them. Yeah, he got injured, but he's a good rim protector as well. Isaiah Hartenstein's on a good contract, so you probably don't want to take Thomas Sorber, especially for already drafted Hassan Newell, because Hassan Newell kind of has like Derek Lively potential, honestly. Thomas Sorber kind of does too, but you're taking Liam McNeely. I mean, it's a no-brainer. He can space the floor. He's just gonna plug right into the Thunder, and Liam McNeely is a great pick for them right here. Next, the team that we have is the Orlando Magic, and you need shooting. Your shooting is just terrible. Jace Richardson is not that guy. He's not a bad shooter, but he's not a good shooter. So you can keep looking at prospects. None of these guys are good until we get to Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford is an elite shooter, maybe the second best, maybe the third best shooter in the draft. And the Magic, you need shooting, whatever position it comes in. That's what you need. So you're taking Nick Clifford. You're not overthinking it, and he's going to the Magic. He's a great rebounder as well. He did it all for Colorado State last year, and it's unfortunate that they left the postseason didn't turn out as Colorado State would have wanted, but that doesn't matter in the NBA. You're not looking at March Madness performances. You're looking at prospects, and he's the best shooter that is on the board still. Now we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves, they can take a point guard. You drafted Rob Dillingham last year. Do you want to take another point guard? I don't know. I don't think they should. But you may also lose Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So if that's the case, you can look at these guys. You can look at Jace Richardson. He's an okay shooter. He can get downhill. Is he too similar to Rob Dillingham to where you wouldn't want to take him? Maybe. I don't know. You can look at Rasheer Fleming. A lot of people are high on Rasheer Fleming. Watching the tape, I kind of am, and then again I kind of am not, because I don't know what his potential looks like. He's a great player, right? We know Rasheer Fleming. He's a switchable defender. He's got a high motor, and for that reason, he kind of fits what the Timberwolves are looking for. Will Riley is in play. I'm very high on him, especially because of his potential. But honestly, I don't think any of these guys up here are going to be going to the Timberwolves. I don't hate the fit of Rasheer Fleming. Like again, I'm not the highest on Rasheer Fleming, but if there's any team that he could be a great fit on, it's the Timberwolves. And with Naz Reid, you don't know Julius Randle's in your future, right? Naz Reid is, and Rudy Gobert is. Rudy Gobert is phenomenal. Rudy Gobert is a very great player. He may be a top 5 center in the NBA, honestly. Again, Anthony Edwards, Rob Dillingham for the future, right? Rasheer Fleming, he's he kind of plays power forward. Are you gonna be able? But like I said, he's a switchable defender. He can guard the 3. He can guard a big. So that's why I think he's gonna be very good, especially with Rudy Gobert in the paint. This is gonna be a great defense for the Timberwolves. And if you're competing, you need to have a good defense. That's one of the things that these playoffs have shown. The Warriors have just had a great defense. That's how they beat the Timberwolves in Game 1. Next, we're back to the Washington Wizards. We took Jack Kuchonis, a point guard now, and you could go with the guy who went to Georgetown, which is in Washington, D.C., right? You could take Thomas Sorber, and like I said, I didn't want to go center first with the first pick. Thomas Sorber, he's not going to be starting. He's not going to be starting. That would be bad if Thomas Sorber was starting for the Washington Wizards in his rookie year. But like I said, no, he's a good rim protector. Some people lost hope in him after he got injured, but Thomas Sorber is still a fantastic player. I think the Wizards, if he's available to the Wizards, they take him right here. It doesn't hurt to have another big, even though I think Alex Sarr can do it. Oh no, I took Danny Wolf. Oh man, I misclicked. Well, we can pretend like they took Thomas Sorber, right? Pretend like the Washington Wizards took Sorber right there, and pretend that this is actually Danny Wolf. So we have the Brooklyn Nets, and once again we're going with the best player available, and Jace Richardson. He looks like that, right? With the talent that's right here, Jace Richardson is probably the best player. Noah Essengay, he has a lot of potential as well. I really like Noah Essengay. He's athletic, he's long, he's improved throughout the year, throughout the season. As of recently, because their season's still going on over there. Nolan Traore is another player who is improving a lot, like I said. But I don't think either of those guys I would take, especially if you're the Nets. You just want somebody who has the highest potential. Will Riley could be in consideration. And if we go all the way down here, Walter Clayton showed off in the in March Madness, winning a championship with Florida. Alex Condon, he raised his stock a lot. And where's the guy I was thinking of? I don't know. I don't even know where the guy is. Oh, Cedric Coward right here. He's someone whose stock has skyrocketed as of late. And I wasn't that high on him because he transferred to Duke. So I was decently high on him. He transfers to Duke, and then I stopped looking at him entirely because I'm like, okay, he's going to Duke. But it turns out that he got invited to the NBA Draft Combine, and Cedric Coward is still. I think he can go late first round, so I'll come back to him. I don't think the Nets would take him with this high of a pick. And you're okay with Nick Claxton. You're okay with Cam Johnson playing power forward. You're kind of looking to just best player available, and I think that's Jace Richardson. Jace Richardson, he's like I said, he's an okay shooter. His favorite spot is from that top of the 3-point arc, but he can get downhill, and for that reason, I think Jace Richardson is the next best player, the next best prospect, and right, he's going to the Nets. Now we have the Miami Heat. You need a point guard, and Traore, he's still here. And I don't think Nolan Traore is bad, right? He could definitely go here. He's got good court vision. He's got playmaking. He's not a good shooter. And you kind of want somebody who can do both. Jace Richardson would be perfect for the Miami Heat because Jace Richardson is kind of like Terry Rozier, right? So I think Jace Richardson would be a perfect replacement for Terry Rozier. He could start one day. Nolan Traore, I don't know if that's what you're looking for. Just like I said, he's a good playmaker, but you're kind of looking for a combo guard. And Labaron Phelan Filan is somebody whose stock just increased throughout the year. He was so good in those games in Alabama. Alabama was such a good player, such a good team this year. And Mark Sears, people say he was the better guard, in Alabama, not as a prospect, but as a player. And because of that, Filan may have not filled up the stat sheet, but he is just amazing late in the game. When the games would be close, Labaron Filan would still play just awesome. And that's why I think out of all the guards available, I think Filan is just someone who has the most potential. He's got the size. He's 6'4" as well. And Labaron Filan, I just think they should take him. The Miami Heat, if he falls to them and Jace Richardson is off the board, even with Jace Richardson, you might want to take Filan over him if he's still on the board. He can score, he can facilitate, he's shifty, he's agile, and for that, I think Labaron Filan, Miami Heat should take him. They should definitely consider him. Now we're back to the Utah Jazz. We went with the scoring ability, the shot creation of Trey Johnson, and with the 5th overall pick. Now we're back here, and we're looking at, this is where I think Noah Essengay kind of comes in. Like I said, he's very athletic, he's very long, and he's going to come off the bench. He's not going to start, right? We're at the point of the draft where I don't think any of these guys are going to be starters. Now, we do get starters drafted in the second round. Jalen Wills, the Memphis Grizzlies, took him in the second round. He started a lot of games this year for them. So, some of these, it's not rare that you see second round players start in their rookie year, but I think this is the part of the draft where we get to the prospects, the guys who they're pretty raw. Now, a lot of these guys who were drafted already are also raw. A lot of those guys are one-dimensional as well. And if you're the Jazz, I think it's just Noah Essengay. Like I said, Danny Wolf, you could consider to be behind Walker Kessler. Now, you might trade Walker Kessler because you can get a lot if you trade him to the Lakers. The Lakers are probably going to give you Dot and Connect. They're probably going to give you a first-round pick from the Luka trade, right? Just so they can get Walker Kessler, who would be a perfect fit on the Lakers, honestly. So you could go that route. Otherwise, if you're the Jazz, I think just take Noah Essengay. He's got great potential. I could see him becoming a great forward in the NBA. Now we're back to the Hawks. We went with Carter Bryant, the wing, and like I said earlier, you kind of want someone who can rim run. Danny Wolf is not someone who can rim run. Alex Karaban, he's announced that he's going back to college, which is crazy because after his sophomore year, I was very high on Karaban. They won back-to-back championships, and I was like, okay, Karaban is going to be a high draft pick. And then he goes back to college for his junior year, and it's kind of like, okay, come on, man. But he was still going to be like a first-round pick, in my opinion. He's a first-round talent. And now he's going to go back to college for his senior year, which is unfortunate for the NBA draft. So I think for that reason, you're not looking at Lendenborg. I'm not high on Lendenborg like everyone else is, even though he's a terrific short. Joan Behringer, maybe he's mobile. He's a great rim protector, but he's also that prospect. Alex Condon, I think he's decent all around, but I don't think the Hawks would reach on him. So once again, I'm just gonna take Will Riley. He's he's a great player. He's young. He's a good shot maker. He's long, quick. He's a good ball handler as well. If you want somebody somebody besides Trae Young who can be a ball handler, because you traded away DeJounte Murray, I think Will Riley is decent enough there, especially for his position. He's very good. So I think Will Riley makes a lot of sense for the Atlanta Hawks here. That was at number 18 or number 22. So with the 23rd pick, we have the Indiana Pacers. Miles Turner. It looks like all signs are saying that the Indiana Pacers are re-signing Miles Turner. And with that, you have him. Pascal Siakam is great. Tyrese Halliburton is amazing. Tyrese Halliburton, he had a bad year last year, and everyone was like, oh, he's overrated, fraud, all NBA, whatever. And he's proving everybody wrong in this postseason. Tyrese Halliburton is an amazing player. And I think you don't need to think back up. You have TJ McConnell on a great contract. Obi Toppin, we're not sure if he's going to be here long term. We might even trade him. Benedict Mathurin, it's unfortunate what's happened to him. Aaron Neesmith is good. He's on a good contract as well. So there's not really, you have a lot of depth already. So you're taking somebody who has a lot of potential. Like I said, you can take Traore, but there's no reason why you would take a point guard who's not a good scorer, especially for the Indiana Pacers. Cam Jones makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he's a little bit on the older side, but he's a great scorer. He can rebound, right? He's a smart player, and he can defend as well, which is why he makes sense for this Indiana Pacers. So I think actually he can run in transition as well. It makes sense. I do Thiero. I liked him, and then he returned to Arkansas for another year. If he was coming off his sophomore season, I would have had him go lottery probably, but I kind of fell off a little bit on Adou Thiero throughout the year. And Cam Jones, remarkably, I think he could go first round. I don't. In most, like in my draft 2 years ago, Cam Jones is like your prototypical second round player. He's a senior who is a good scorer, but he actually expanded his game this year. He's a good defender as well now, and I think he can become a first rounder. Now we're back to the Thunder. If you're the Thunder, you're trading one of these picks. Probably, you're probably gonna win the title. Actually, if you win the championship, you're not making any trades. You're drafting young, you're drafting prospects, you're drafting players who may be able to fit in, likely players who are going to your G League. If you don't win the title this year, then you're going all in. You're trading for like a KD. You're trading for a Giannis. You have a lot of assets. So one of these picks would be traded in that scenario. Otherwise, you're trading the player, or you're drafting a player who's good. You took Hassan Newell, you took Lee McNeely. You can take a point guard now just to round out the 3 different position types that we have. And you can take Buggy Flynn. Buggy Flynn is I don't hear anybody talking about him anymore. He was great in his only year at Arkansas. Buggy Flynn is a phenomenal player. There were issues, concerns I should say, not issues, with his size, but I think you can still. Else would you take? Alex Carabin, like I said, would be great, but he's going back to college. Danny Wolf, I don't think so. Nolan Traore, you have good enough shooters, so actually why not take Nolan Traore? He's a better playmaker than Buggy Flynn. He's better overall, kind of, I would say. Now you're back to the Orlando Magic. None of these guys are really great shooters, like I kind of hinted at earlier, except for one player who's a fantastic shooter. We come down here, Walter Clayton Jr. People say he's one-dimensional. He runs around good. He has terrific stamina, and he's the most similar player prospect to Steph Curry that we've seen in a while. You may say Peyton Pritchard was, but I think Walter Clayton is known the best in a long time that we've seen to Steph Curry. And for a team that needs shooting, the Orlando Magic, you should take Walter Clayton. He's definitely a consideration. If not with your first pick, then with that second pick that you have right there. So now we're back to the Brooklyn Nets. You have back-to-back picks at 26, 27. Once again, these could be traded. JT Toppin, if he wasn't going back to college, I hate that he's going back. If he wasn't going back to college, he would have been in the lottery, in my opinion, even though nobody else had him mocked that high for some reason. I think JT Toppin is a phenomenal player. I don't know why people don't think he's a lottery talent. But looking at these guys, looking at who's available, like I said, Danny Wolf, you could, since you haven't taken a big yet, Danny Wolf is the next best player that we have available. I like the center from Oregon. I forget what his name is, but I really like him. Danny Wolf, he fits in many. He fits in a fast-moving offense, which is why Danny Wolf would make sense with the Oklahoma City Thunder. But he's not a terrific defender. You have Nick Claxton, and you kind of maybe you want a backup center. So I think Danny Wolf makes enough sense for the Brooklyn Nets right here. Like I said, back-to-back picks, and these guys are kind of raw here. Hugo Gonzalez, you don't necessarily want that. Ben Seraph, you're not considering at all. I don't know why he's this high. Joan Barron, you were kind of all the way down here. Alex Condon, you're considering. Alex Tuhey, I think he's great. He can He's gotten better in his year at Australia. I don't hear anybody talking about Alex Tuhi at all, but I think he's definitely in consideration over here. Maxime Reynaud, I've watched some of his film. He's not bad. He's a senior, yeah, but he's a pretty good player in the Pac-12. Isaiah Evans, he's going in the draft, right? Tyrese Proctor, I don't think these guys are going high. Tahad Pettiford had a terrific year at Auburn, very successful. I don't hate the pick if the Brooklyn Nets were supposed to go, if they were going here, but I think somebody who has even more potential is Miles Byrd. Miles Byrd is he's not that bad of a defender. He's a great shooter as well. Catch and shoot, right? He's not just like a pull-up shooter or nothing like that, but catch and shoot in the corner. And Miles Byrd has shown an ability to go. He can drive to the rim as well. So for that reason, I think he makes sense there. Boston Celtics with pick 28. This may be the 29th pick in the draft. Who knows? Like I said, J.T. Toppin would have been phenomenal if he was if he wasn't going to college. You could take Alex Condon here. You could take Joe Behringer. He's like I said, a great rim protector. Kristaps Porzingis, he gets injured every now and then, especially in the playoffs, even last postseason, and right now he's injured. Al Horford, he's getting older, even though he still had a game with 5 blocks against the Magic in the playoffs. But I think John Behringer is the next best prospect here out of all the players, out of all the big men we have. Alex Condon would be that second best. Now we have the Phoenix Suns. Interesting team because you could blow it up. This might need a video in itself. Devin Booker, he's staying with the Suns. Kevin Durant does not. He didn't want to go to the Warriors. So, are you gonna be able to trade him if the team doesn't want a Kevin Durant that doesn't want to play with them? The Rockets could be in the market for Kevin Durant, and in that case, which wings are you looking at? And you're looking at raw potential. That's what you're looking at. Noah Pinda has that size, decent size, so you could take him. I do not think it's going to be good. He doesn't have a lot of potential, in my opinion. Isaiah Evans does, but I don't know if he's going back to college now. Otherwise, you would take him. Donnie Freeman, you could look at. He's a decent player. He had a great year. You can just look at the stats right there. So Donnie Freeman, maybe. Like I said, you're in rebuild mode if you do that. Even though if you trade KD to the Rockets, you could probably get a Jalen Green. You could probably get not Tari Eason, maybe a Jabari Smith as well. And if you could utilize those guys to their fullest potential, you have a good team. Maybe not contending, so you're not rushing the rebuild necessarily. I would love JD Toppin. He would flourish on the Suns team, man. So I think for that reason, I don't really know what else. You could use point guard depth, but you can't trade Bradley Beal. You're stuck with him. You might want a playmaker, but I think Alex Condon has the most potential. Honestly, if it's not Alex Condon, then Ian Jackson he's staying in college, right? I'm pretty sure. But it's either Boogie Flan, not Tyrese Proctor, maybe last year Tyrese Proctor, not Donnie Freeman. I think maybe Alex Tuhi, honestly, but I think you go with not Tahad Pettiford, but Alex Condon, just because he's the best player. That's right here, and he won a championship. Now we have the last pick of the first round, the Los Angeles Clippers. You're here, 30th pick. Now, if he was still on the board, he would have taken Condon right there. But I mean, you're taking whoever they have great defense. They have a great defense already. That's what we were talking about. And the Nuggets were somehow able to find a way to crack that defense in the playoffs. James Harden is likely returning. He wants to come to Clippers. He's the best point guard you can get in free agency. So yeah, James Harden is coming back to the Clippers for sure. Norman Powell, you're not so sure about. He has an option, right? Or does he not? I don't know. Bogdanovich put up a bunch of burgers. He got playing time. Ben Simmons got playing time. Zubac is your center for the future. Do you want some big man depth? Because like I said, I'm not so sure that Drew Eubanks is going to be there for the future. And a lot of big men are off the board. Kalkbrenner, he's not going first round. He's not first round talent. Lindenberg, again, people are high on him. I don't necessarily see it. Janai Broom's not going first round. Alex Karaban, if he was going to the draft, he would be first round. What other big men do we have here? That's about it. It looks like Donnie Freeman's not going first round. I don't think he should. Not Henson Young. Raynun, maybe. But that would be reaching. So who can you take with this first round pick? Like I said, you have a great defense. You can take somebody who's offensive centered. And for that, I mean, if Walter Clayton Jr. fell to here, you would take him. But he's off the board. A Dude Thero, do you just want to double down with having great defense? Because he's a great wing, great defender, perimeter defender, like a very good perimeter defender. You could take Ben Seraph because you don't necessarily have a backup point guard. You have Norman Powell is a good ball handler, good playmaker. Kawhi Leonard, not so much. So for that reason, you can take Ben Seraph, and I don't hate the pick, and that's where I'm going right here, Ben Seraph, to round it out. But this is my first round. Thank you for watching. Like I said, all these picks, they look chalk. It's just me going with the highest pick, but it's not just me going with the highest prospect, the highest rated prospect, because Cooper Flag is a no-brainer. Dylan Harper is a no-brainer. No matter who has the second overall pick, I don't think anybody with the second overall pick, besides maybe the 76ers, if they do get that, because VJ Edgecombe would be perfect on that team. But yeah, the first two picks are no-brainers. The Nets, you need the highest upside. A lot of these picks are just take the player with the highest upside. Some are more position needed, like the Mavericks taking Colin Kneppel here. He would be perfect if he falls to 11. But Colin Kneppel is a better player than Colin Murray Boyles, maybe. That's not crazy to say. He had a better year. That's not crazy to say that Colin Kneppel is better than Maliak, better than Nubo, better than Jeremiah Fears as a prospect, better than Jack Jonas even. But I think this is what teams should do, and this is my first round mock draft. Like I said, the mock draft is Monday, so I'll make a new video next week. Maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Coming out with a new video, new mock draft. I don't know if that one will be 2 rounds yet because this thing needs to get updated. There's a lot of players who are invited to the combine that aren't even in this draft simulator. And that's another thing that's interesting. We only had like 90 people invited to the combine, which is ridiculous. It's like an all-time low. Or not all-time low, but the lowest in a decade. But yeah, here you go. Thank you for watching. See you next week.